Okay, everyone. So what I'm doing here is I'm making a jumper harness. The reason I'm making a jumper harness is because currently, at the minute, I've got a power supply connected, well, directly from the ground here to here. So what I need to do now is make a Y piece. And the reason being is because I have another model. And these models might sit maybe about 1.5 meters away from each other on the bench, or a meter. I wouldn't think it'd be any more than a meter. So I'm going to make a jumper harness roughly about 1 meter long. So hopefully I get this done before 6 o'clock here. And then we can move on to the other model in maybe, I don't know, a couple of days. But I want to get back to my battery pack here too when I'm at it. So we'll get this done, get it finished, and then we can just finish the other model. And then I'll plug the two of them in beside each other when the time comes. So just waiting for this thing to heat up. So we require 2 male ends and 1 female end. So rather than having 2 power supplies, we can use 1. That's the plan. Should have something underneath that bench there. So see what I'm doing there? This is obviously going to be the one. Just need to make sure they're nice and straight there. This is going to be the one furthest away from the power supply. So as I say, I'm trying to do this now before 6 o'clock. I'm not going to pull this black width, the shrink wrap, right over the top of the 2 joints. I'm just going to take it up to the end to keep this speaker cable from spreading, okay? Don't want it over the 2 joints completely, there's no point. Well, you're dependent on the shrink wrap, aren't you, at the end of the day, not to... I think it'll be alright. It's better looser, in my opinion. So I'm just going to take it up to the end there. Like so. Or should I just cover it? No, just covered. The only thing I'm worried about is it's no sharp ends. I know I've got it well soldered, but you never know. Don't have to have it that tight. So that's one end complete of this jumper harness. So now I can plug this model into here, and then I can take this one to the other model, and I can have, let me read this up, I can have like a female connection on here too. So where did I do it? There it is there, look. So I just want to get this nice and neat. So put this one on a mallet. So at this end of the cable, right, I want a male and a female, like so. I'm going to link this together. So power in here, then here's the model number, whatever, model 1, model 2, and then we'll have this that will feed the other one. So basically it's a parallel sort of jumper harness. So it's not in series, it's a parallel. So yeah, keep our knit here, keep our knit. So the other model's not built yet, but it will be. This one's finished. That's nearly built. I just need to put the plate on it. So when I get this right, now I have to get the shrink wrap right. The shrink wrap's obviously going to be different sizes because I've got 1, 2, 3 connections. So that red stuff's no good to us. What do we see? Prefer to use that black here. What colour do I use there? Black. So black's no good. So what I might do is I'm going to keep the meal. I want the meal coming out this way. So remember, I have to keep the polarity right here. So I'm using this black bit on the wire here as the red. Yes. So I'm going to wrap this up here, twist her up. Put the shrink wrap on. See, that's the thing. I don't want too much of this. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say. Yeah. It's better putting this one on like this. I don't want to shorten this too much, if you know what I mean. So if I have this way, there's going to be too much shrink wrap over it. So I'll do it this way instead. So red to the black line on the speaker wire. And we're going to twist her up. And black to the blank line. So this is the female connector. This is the connector that will be connected directly to the power supply seen here, or even the battery pack. Battery pack, they wouldn't last very long with 2 lights running like. So yeah. So we're going to keep it this way. So what I need to do now is I need shrink wrap to go over the 2 of these now, not just one of them. And I can have it, doesn't matter about this being shorter. So I can bring the shrink wrap right down these. So what I see what colour goes over these. Oh, black might go over them. It should. Lovely jubbly. So I'm going to split this a wee bit more, speaker wire. Because obviously we can't solder it like that. Why is that on there for? So I'm going to have to split this again. I can cut that off in the future. I'll cut it off at 6 o'clock. How about that? With the snips. So now I can put the final meal connection on here. So that power supply on the ground there now will power the 2. Yeah. And Donna won't need to run around going, have you only got any AAA batteries on you? We'll try it plugged in at the 2 ends when we're complete here. Let me just confirm this is right here. So red to the black line. Yep. So we're going to solder this now. Nice and neat. No jaggedy edges, no bumps. A nice sweet smooth flow there. So now, I forgot to put a shrink wrap. Do I need it? I don't need it. Do I need it? It would have been nice. See the crack. So link it on the negative here now. Twisting it nice and neat. So the final thing I want to do here now is make sure that these are the same length. If not, just give the negative a wee pull, which is a wee bit too tight. So there we go. So I probably should have put a shrink wrap on there. Let me think. Should I have? To keep it from coming apart in the future. Should I have? What time is it? Time, 5:15. Let's just cut it. Do it again. This is the problem when you do a joint to get. They're very hard to get apart again. So I'm just going to keep this one for the future for something else. And basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put something. I can use the female again. Because, well, you know what? I'll use that in the future again for something else too. So the reason I done that, it was perfect, but the reason I done that is because I'm so fussy. I want to put a shrink wrap over the whole lot. Both the connections. Just to keep them together so the speaker wire doesn't pull apart. So what do we see what we can get the fit here? Would this fit over the top of a whole lot of them? That's not going to fit, so I'll take that off. What I could do is I could put a blue and a red on it. And whatever one doesn't fit, I can just cut it off. Get my drift? So they've got them on again now. It'll not take long to fix this. So we lost about 10 mil there, but it's not going to matter, is it? Well, I'll just make sure I'm not making a mess of this room. So this jumper harness will be really handy. So I'm not cutting too much off the male end here because we require this length. Because if you can imagine, we don't want this jumper harness right up on the model. So splicing about 10 mil off it there. Not too much. Not too much. Do you want to see it on the red? So there's the high brightness, there's low brightness, and there's it flashing red. Hold on. Turn the lights off. There's it flashing red. There's lamp, basically high brightness. And there's it sitting on dim mode. So what do I see here? I'll just show for anybody that just jumped on what I'm doing here. So basically what I've done today is I've modified one of these little Larry torches to go inside the model here. So I've got my own customized switch made up. Well, it's like a plunger. Yeah. This is for the other model. Them torches are £10. So we're going to focus on, we're going to continue here. So what I need to do now is I need to do what I had done. I'm going to strip the female. So female facing out this way because I want to keep the length of the male end. I want to keep the jumper harness away from the model. Approximately about whatever length that is. So here we go. So let's say if you were sitting a picture frame beside it or something, you could sort of hide the cable with the picture frame. That's the idea. So red now to the black line on the speaker wire. And we're going to just twist it nice and neat. You see, I need to have those on the other end. Jeff Duke. So they need to go on here. So that's better. Makes more sense. So female now onto here, onto this jumper harness. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully you can hear me there, because I know the sound has been affected lately on my live streams. I don't know what's going on. YouTube's trying to keep me quiet. So black to the blank wire. And what I can do now is I can add in the male, and it means I'm keeping, I've got this length, I've got a good length here. I'll probably have a wee bit more, because if you can imagine, this shrink wrap will come down over the top of the two of them. But I also need the shrink wrap now to separate them. Otherwise there'll be a short circuit from the power supply here. So we'll get that down as far as possible. I might need to widen this up a wee bit. Speaker cable, we don't want this to shrink with heat. So I think we'll be done today for 6. I think a couple of weeks ago I was doing these battery packs in the background here. There was a whole handle, but it's all done now anyway. So we'll keep our lit here. We'll be done 5 minutes, by the way. So red now to the red, or red to the white and black line. And what I'm going to do is, rather than keeping this, like 12 or 13 mil long, I'm going to cut them off to maybe about 10. Being fussy. And we're just going to swivel these ones on there, but really neat. We'll start with the red. So it's really tight there. Where did the 2 black bits go? Is it on there? Is it inside that? Or did it fall off? Is it on there? There they are there. What am I on about, Jeffrey? I had to be with today. Okay, let's solder this now, keeping these shrink wrap back out of the way. Give us a wee shake again, because it's got a ball bearing switch inside it. It cuts off down to 200 degrees. Let's go back up to 450 degrees there now. Wee bit of flux on, solder, away we go. So we've got these nicely swelled. So I'll bring it up close. When I put the solder on here, when I place the solder on them, they'll be nice and smooth and neat, and none of the copper wire will be like trying to jag through the shrink wrap. That's the proper way to do it. Hopefully you can see there again. I'm going to have to get off the seat and check that. Wait on. Thanks for watching, people. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. So let's get this soldered. Did that go down again? No. So yeah, nice and neat, does it? Let me take the top off here. Start to cook. So we're gonna place this over the top of this now, sort of centralizing it to the solder. So you can feel like that. Not going to shrink wrap it yet, or get the heat over, because we're going to make a mess. So we're going to do the negative here now. We're going to switch her on too. And we're going to try and keep these the same length. So that looks good. Let's see the lengthwise. Perfect. So swilling them makes a much stronger joint rather than just having them like this. And it's much easier to solder together, of course. Nice and smooth. And sometimes I like getting the pliers and just giving the joint a wee straighten before it cools down. Like that. See it there now. So this is a jumper harness for model number 2 that's sitting in the cabinet behind me here. So we're getting there. I'm just nearly done with it. So we're going to bring these to the centre of the solder. And we'll give them a wee heat here. Trying to direct the heat away from these two. Okay, so I can now slide these over the top when they cool down. So the reason there's a red and a blue on there is because, well, I thought the red would be too tight, which it is, I think. So I'm just going to line these up now, nice and neat, before I run this shrink wrap down. They're not going to dig into each other because I have them well soldered here. They're nice and smooth and there's no jaggedy edges. So we'll bring this down first to see how it fits. It's grand. But to see if the red fits. I think it will too. Yeah, it does. So in that case, hold on, if it doesn't go over and it's a wee bit too tight, just get a wee bit of flux in your finger. Put it over the top of the shrink wrap. And it will come down then. Should. There we go. But I don't know, should I keep the red or keep the blue? No point having the two of them on there. What do we see? Don't want to pull them wires too much. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because it's a wee bit too tight, I think blue looks better anyway. So I'm going to cut it off. Don't want that on there. Try not to cut the wires. This could easily be done. Trying to feel here for no wire on top of the cutters. I could have went with it, I could have left it on, but I don't want the red and the blue on together now. It would look kind of... I wish I had black, to be honest. I don't have any black that size. So we're going to heat that there now, and it means I can plug my power supply into this connector, the female. I'm going to keep it down actually, this way a wee bit. About there. Okay. Okay everyone, so I can now plug this into model number 1 and I can have this one into model number 2 at a meter apart. And we can plug this into the power supply. So we'll test it now. with a multimeter first. We'll clean the bench. Do you know what? I'm not going to bother, I'm just going to plug it straight on. Right, you ready? If we're done, we on. Right. I'm going to plug the power supply out. And do you know what I'm going to do before we're going any further here? What do you see this? So, these little connectors, do you see these little connectors? They come in the, obviously, out of the factory, and they have these little latching parts on them. You probably won't be able to see it, but they're sort of like arrows. So when them are like barbs, like on a fishing hook. So when them barbs goes onto that female connector, seen here, it's very hard to pull the plug apart again. So I'm scared that Donna or somebody goes and tries and pulls this out, like I did there now, and it was very difficult to pull it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these barbs off with the knife here. I'm not going to cut the tab off completely because we want that tab to keep the polarity right. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't want to make a mess, I want to make them nice and neat here. There we go. So this should be much easier to pull in and out of this plug. Yes, it is. Much easier now. Do you know what else I could do? Take a wee bit more off. Right, that'll do right there now. So we'll plug her in again, do we see? So that's nice and not loose, but it's perfect. So I'm actually going to do the jumper cable here too because the same goes for that. What do you see if I try and plug this out now? So it's much easier than it was before. Well, you see me there now trying to pull it out. It was a bit tight. So I'll just demonstrate that before I plug the jumper harness in. So on this female connector, there's a little square hole. And on these male connectors, there's a little, I don't know if the phone's focused, but there's a little sort of arrow shape, an extruded part that slots into the female part. Once it goes in, look how tight it is to pull apart. So if you can imagine now somebody that's not really, I'm not saying Donna's not technical minded, but somebody that doesn't really know, and they go to try and pull these apart, they're going to be pulling the wires. So at least now I have weakened that. So if I do, I can pull the wires apart without wrecking the actual connections and all. Pulling it here from the model, but it's glued here with epoxy anyway. I'm just looking at this. Right. So anyway, I'm going to go back to the jumper harness here. I'll turn the soldering iron off. Oh, top works different. Ugh. So we're back at the jumper harness. Bear with me, people. This knife just fell on that cable there now. You wouldn't believe it, and I have it opened. Would you believe that? I'm lucky. I'm so lucky. I can feel the wee nick in it, but it's alright. So we have a lovely little jumper harness here now, look. And then that's scrap. Hold on, bear with me. Nearly done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same thing again. So see the female. So I'm going to plug this out. And I'm going to plug it. See how easy it comes out now? I'm going to plug this directly into the female, this one. And it should be easy to pull apart. If not be, you know what I can do? Do you see the little, if there's any wee, like there's a wee hook there, just cut it off. Like cutting the paws. They're not required. It's only there to keep the connectors from pulling out. But or falling out, vibration or whatever. So look there now, that slides in nice and neat. So Donna could pull that apart easy. Or let's say Donna moves the model and forgot to plug it out. The wire's going to come out without wrecking the model and without wrecking the connections. Yes? So hopefully he's understand there. So I'm going to cut this one now too. Now we're going to plug it into the model. I'm going to cut this one too. Just cutting the wee tags off it. The wee tabs. So I'm going to plug this out a minute. See how easy it comes out. These are really special wee connectors. I love them. I've been using them for my projects for years. So I don't want to cut the tab off completely because the tab keeps the polarity right. If the tab wasn't there, you can reverse the polarity on the plug. Yes, you can turn it around in the socket or whatever. So we're just cutting these wee arrows off. So it's like removing the barb and the fishing hook. I'm going to go to this model too. See the way that I removed these little barbs on the female, which there's ones on it, I didn't realise. I'm just cutting them off the model too. So we're going to run the knife out this way, away from the model. That's one side done. And that's two sides done. And just remove the wee bit out of the way so it doesn't look rough. Not making a hash of it, making it nice and neat. So we have one more to do here. Remember, I'm plugging this into the jumper harness that I just made. I'm going to plug this into the model. And hopefully it works when I turn it on. Well, because it blinked. So there we have it. We've got a jumper harness now for the second model. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to bring the camera up close so you can see what I'm doing here. So don't forget to like and subscribe, people. I really appreciate it. So this is a model that I built for my girlfriend. There's a couple of them. I'm actually building her a third one. I built one for my sister too. So it was newborn themed. So what I'm doing here now, right, is do you see there on the end, I'm just removing the little hook so that if Donna moves the models, the wires pull out. At the minute, they can't do that. It's because it's like having a hook underneath your skin. Fishing hook. If you ever got a fishing hook put under your finger, like it's difficult to get out. So this is just doing away with the barb. So cutting down and then cutting in. Keeping it nice and straight with the rest of the tab. You will not see what I'm doing, I know that, because I'm so far, the wee thing's that small. That out camera jumps about, focusing. And you're too close to it. I notice. So that's that tab removed. As I say, I'm not trying to make a hash of the plug. I'm just removing the barb. That's it. Keeping the tab. There we go, people. So that's it complete. So you might be able to see, but if you look at that, the barb is now removed. That barb's dangerous for my models, for Donna's models, for any models. So now you're going to plug this in, right? Bear with me, I'm going to lift this up a bit. So I'm now going to plug this in. What do we see? So let's say this here is the other model. Just say there's a model running on this jumper. I can now move this away. I can slide this on the bench without damaging the mirror plate that I have created, because I've got these little special feet put on it. So we're now going to plug it in here. We're going to plug it in here, right, and see if it works. There we go. So that's it, everyone. We've got the jumper harness done on this live stream. Live stream part 9. So this might be the 4th live stream today. The 3rd or the 4th. I think the first one, yeah, was stripping the torch. So the torch that I'm using is these little arrows. So rather than obviously building my own PCB and putting wee small LEDs on it, what I've done is I've modified the torch for the models and made up my own plunger switches and stuff. So again, we're going to just try it back in the other end. So I can pull the wires now, and I don't need to concentrate on having my fingers on the grips on the plug in the socket. So let's say Donna now decides I'm going to plug this thing out and just, forgets to plug it out of the model. Rather than pulling the whole thing sort of to the ground, it sort of comes out with ease. You hope anyway. Hopefully it never happens. Otherwise I'll have to repair it in the future again. But that's it, complete. So let's just say now, I'll just describe. So if you're having this thing plugged in on the right hand side of a bench, you would have this part going to the left. Yes. And you would have the model like so. And you would have this one going to the other model. And it will meet a connector at the exact same place. Do you know what I'm going to do? Because, I might as well just bring it out. Hold on 2 seconds till I get this model. Now, it's going to be hard to get it out here. Hold on. Come out by you. It's heavy. It's heavy when it's at arm's length. Okay, people, I'm coming. I got it. That was hard, not gonna lie. I had to crawling around a bike and everything there. Right, so I'm gonna take this soldering station to the ground here, 2 minutes. Right. So let's say now we'll move this junk. So let's say now, right, that this model was being positioned on a bench. See the way that came out? Right, it's pushed in tight there now. So we can have this cable, this jumper harness coming up the right hand side. And then we can have this one. Sorry, hold on. That's the wrong way around. This is the front, where you can see the girl and the mother, sort of. So that this is designed so that the daughter showing the mother love, holding the umbrella and all that. So here we have the jumper harness, which will now feed in to the model on the left. And the switches are both at the front. Designed the exact same way. A lot of work went into these models. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wrap up. So thanks for watching, everyone. That's model number 1. That's model number 2. This is one I've actually filled the hearts with glitter and PVA. A lot of work went into it. So I'll just dim the lights because this live stream is focused on the spun and the cables, the jumper harness, and the power supply. So this power supply is rated 2.1 amps, so it can actually power up 4 of these, no problem. So that's it, everyone. I'll do one final demonstration with the battery pack. So where is it? There it is there, look. Right, so let's say now Donna wants to take this thing to a coffee table. Obviously, nobody's going to have a socket in the middle of the room. Unless they're Did I cut this? Unless they're they have a computer socket in the ground or something. So this is the battery pack. I'm just thinking, I need to be careful here because there was an issue today with these plugs. Is this the right one? Red to black, black to red. That's it. So we're going to plug this in. So you can see there now it running off the battery pack. So that's basically like having the three lights, or sorry, the three batteries powering the one light. The exact same thing, only I brought it out and I've put it into, I've brought it into the battery packs. So same voltage. The brightness is obviously a wee bit brighter on the power supply, because when the load goes on the power supply, it's not dropping off like compared to the likes of batteries. So we're all complete, everyone. I'm going to wrap a live stream up. I have to clean this room up. I've got another couple of live streams to do. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see the crack. We'll see how it goes for the actual e-bike. So I'll just turn this over for the people that jumped on there. So there's the quality of the model underneath. It's the same inside. So the light sort of protrudes up through it. And I'll give one final explanation because this is the last time you will ever see it. The theme behind this one is the fish are in water. The father is fishing. The young woman is standing on water, floating on water, and the fish are all sort of coming to her attention in the middle of the water. You can see they're all aimed at her under her dress. And the father has an African grey on his head, a bucket full of fish because he's a happy fisherman, and basically it says on the side of it, what do we see where it starts? Forever, Donna, love. I may as well show you rather than reading it out. Forever, Donna, love, Dad, heart. Love Dad, oh no, it starts here. Love Dad forever, Donna. No. Let me get this right. I'm out of energy here. Love Dad forever, Donna. Love Dad forever, Donna. Love Dad, heart. And that was created for my girlfriend. Her dad was a fisherman, and obviously her being a princess. LOL. So that's it. All finished. Bye bye, model number 1. So you can see the fish all come up to the top of the water there. You can see the fish actually, you can see the fish in the mirror plate underneath. And rather than leaving, it is crystal clear, but you see the little marks around the side. I thought it'd be nicer to have like a fade sort of to the outside rather than just having it crystal clear from this point on. So a lot of thought went into it. Thanks for watching, everyone, to the genuine and also to the haters. I know the haters don't like seeing unique things, but that's just the way it is when you're viewing my channel. Bye, everyone!